are here to pray with God. So before anything else, I encourage you to begin your prayer, not just beginning from ourselves, but start your prayer asking the Lord this question. Okay, this is an invitation for all of us. When we start the personal prayer, just ask the Lord, Lord, how are you? How are you today? Okay, so that is my advice. When we start our personal prayer later on, start with the question, Lord, how are you today? Do not start saying, Lord, I am like this, I'm like that. Okay, start with God, asking him, Lord, how are you today? And let him tell you. Okay, so yeah, just to introduce myself for those who are new, welcome to our ZOW, and Xin Chào from Vietnam. I am here now in Vietnam. We are a small community. We are just two missionaries here, but with big hearts. Okay, so we are me and Father David. We are here for those who do not know. We have been here for maybe 4 years, going in and out. And my name is Darwin. I'm from Cebu, missionary for more or less 20 years. So been assigned here in Vietnam. Okay, just for those who do not know me. I will be your humble guide, hopefully, to your prayer today. Okay, so just to recall last week's readings, Sunday. If you remember, those who are here, we have been praying about the passages on Ecclesiastes, talking about vanity of vanities, you remember? And our gospel was about the rich fool who was so greedy, gathering a lot of things for himself. So today, I will start by saying that I believe all of us, we are trying to live our lives as best as we can every day. And my question is, what are you expecting in your life? What are you expecting in your life? Do you have expectations in your life? Maybe for some of us, I heard that some of us are expecting new life, newborn babies or something. So we have many expectations. Or maybe you can ask this question, do I still have expectations? I'm already very old. Usually when we become very old, we don't expect more in life anymore. we have already passed a long amount of time in our life. So do you have expectations still in your life? How big are those expectations? How big are those? Today, we pray because we are here to connect to the big expectation that God has for us. Remember that God has big expectations for you and for me. And we are here to pray in order to connect to that big expectation of God. I will start by talking about inheritance, because this is one of the most powerful words that has been recurring again and again in all the readings of this coming Sunday. The word inheritance. Inheritance. So I believe you know the meaning of inheritance. Okay. I remember one story of my father. Said that my great grandfather owns an island in the north of Cebu, because I'm from Cebu. So in the north of Cebu, and in those times, the price of the island is quite cheap. To have an island is nothing extraordinary, but if you think about nowadays, to have an island, to own an island, wow, And imagine in that place in the north of Cebu, you know the situation there, you know how the nice beaches, well, it's very popular now for tourists. So it's a very, yeah. So according to my father, my great grandfather had an island. Okay, so but he had a very, how to say, long-term vision. And you know what he did? He sold the island. Wow, he sold the island for few pesos. I mean, those times it's nothing. It's a few pesos. Why? Because he thought that if I give this inheritance to my children later on, my children will fight amongst them. So they will really fight. So in order to avoid that, maybe I'll just give this island to somebody else. So all my family was not so rich. We remained poor. We don't have an island now. So, but he had a very nice vision for me personally, a very holy vision, because for him, his treasure is the relationship between the siblings, the good relationship. He's not thinking about what money or what. He was, for him, what was precious was the good relationship of the family. So that's just an example of a person who has a bigger vision, more than just material vision in life. What is the vision of God for you and for me? Okay, maybe that example is cannot compare to God, but let us pray for that. Lord, what is your vision? What is your expectation for you and for me? Remember that God has a big and huge expectation. If we look at the second reading, we saw Abraham. Abraham obeyed when he was called out to a place that he was to receive as an inheritance. So the inheritance that Abraham saw is beautiful. There were many people in the past, our ancestors, who know the promise of God, and they saw it. They didn't really saw it externally, but they saw it coming from prayer. And how did they welcome it? It says there in the second reading, they saw it and greeted it from afar. They didn't arrive to that inheritance, but they saw it and they greeted it from afar. They were desiring a better homeland, a heavenly homeland. So this was the attitude of our foremothers, or I don't know how to say it, ancestors. These were their attitude. They were looking for something greater than where they are. And this is the invitation of this coming Sunday in our prayer today, to lift our eyes up once again to the big expectation that God has for us. Because many times, if we are walking in this earth, sometimes we become more focused just on the things of this world, and we lose the bigger perspective. So I invite you to do that. And I will emphasize this from the gospel today. It says there, coming from the voice of the Father, do not be afraid, little flock, because your Father is so pleased to give you this inheritance, to give you this kingdom. Do not be afraid, little flock, because he is so pleased. Imagine, he wants that to give you the kingdom. He wants to give you this inheritance. And the Father is saying to us, to you and me, you are my inheritance. You are my inheritance. Jesus himself repeated these words. You and me you are my inheritance that the Father has given me. Jesus is happy for you. Jesus is happy for you. That is what I understood from prayer. Jesus is happy for you and for me. Maybe I am not happy of myself after so many years. I see many negative things. Whether you are happy of yourself or not, Jesus is happy for you. Do you believe? That is the question. Maybe I feel like, how to say, like punishing myself. Por mi culpa, por mi culpa, por mi culpa. Maybe I put, as I say, like with a stick. I hit myself a lot because I'm not so proud of myself after so many years. But remember these words: do not be afraid, little flock. How little you think you may be, but I am pleased to give you the inheritance. You are my inheritance. And when we talk of inheritance, means that Jesus is working very hard to really have you 100% as his inheritance. It is like the man who finds a treasure in the field. Remember that parable? The man who finds a treasure in the field, Jesus is telling us, you are that treasure, and I will work day and night so that I may have you as that treasure. You are that treasure that the Lord desires so much. For those who are experts in the catechism, okay, those who are catechists perhaps here or in the past, you know, one of the definitions of prayer is an encounter of two thirsts. Two thirsts, two people who are thirsty, us and God. So it's not only us who are thirsty for God, but God is thirsty for us. He wants to claim us as his own. You are my treasure. You are my inheritance. Stop punishing yourself or stop blaming yourself. Stop putting down on yourself, because in the eyes of God, you are precious for him. In the gospel today, it says, for where your treasure is, there will your heart be. For where your treasure is, what is your treasure? There also your heart. This is the same for God. If we are the treasure of God, means that his heart is focused on you and me. You are the treasure of God. Means that all his heart is turned towards you and towards me. And he will put all his heart every day for that. To love you, to protect you, to wait for you until you recognize him. Is there anything, how do you say, is there any reason not to give thanks to God for this? No, really, it's a cause for thanksgiving. Imagine all the heart of God, all the life of God every day is focused on you and me, because he wants to claim you as his own. So let us rejoice and be happy, and not come to God with how do you say, with always with fear to be punished, coming to God with how do they por mi culpa, all this, but to really approach God knowing that he really is so happy to be with you. It's like those image of I remember my parents who are now grandparents, because so every time my nephews and niece come to the house, oh, they're so happy. The lolos and the lolas are so happy to that the grandchildren are here. So it's the same. It's the same with God. God is always happy that we are present. We come to him like his grandchildren. And maybe when we come to him, we are like these little kids that are like crazy, like you know the grandchildren, sometimes you cannot control them, and they come on, take a bath, and they they don't want, come on, eat. You know, the grandchildren, they make the house of the lolos and the lolas a mess. Okay. But how crazy we are, God is so happy. Come visit us, come here. So that is the feeling of God. So in all of this, we need faith. We need faith. And that is the second reading of today. God gives us the gift of faith. What is faith for you? I address that question to you, and perhaps it can be a good element for your personal prayer later on. In the second reading, it says, faith is the realization of what is hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. Very deep words. It's the realization of what is hoped for. And I just was struck by this word, hope. And I address this question to you. Do you still hope? Do you still hope in the midst of all these current situations that we are living? Do you still hope? Do you still see evidence of things that are beautiful? Or everything that you see around you is already ugly? Everything is bad news. Do you still see evidence of good things? Do you still hope? And that's why we need to ask for this gift of faith. Lord, help me to hope once again. Maybe I have lost this hope in my life, hope in you, hope in the life of faith. Maybe I lost hope already because so many, I pray a lot, Lord, but still nothing happens. I pray a lot. I joined the ZOW, but looks like the same. Nothing has changed. So do you still hope? And it's interesting, I read the commentary about faith, just in the Bible that I have. And it gives an example about faith. Faith is like two people walking on seeing a forest. Two people looking at the forest. But they look at the forest and they feel differently because one person is looking at the forest, walking through it. So he's walking inside the forest. So really struggling there, cutting the branches, the bushes, and sometimes very dark and scary because he's going through the forest. So he sees a forest, but he's going through it. Another person is looking at the same forest, but from a helicopter above. Okay, he sees a big forest full of trees, but he is comfortable in the helicopter, looking at the big wide perspective. And that is the two examples. And what is faith? It says there that faith, we need both. We need both to understand faith. We need to walk through the world, through the situations, through the lives of the people in front of us where we are. We need to walk through it. But we also need a higher vision. We need a bigger perspective. We need both. Because if we are just caught up by what we see just around us, like that guy inside the forest, we will be stressed all the time. Mosquitoes, animals, allergies. Very hot, so scary. I'm sweating a lot here and all that. But if we don't have that, we will always complain. But if we have that person who is also there looking at a bigger perspective, it gives us hope that there is a way out through the forest. And that's why for me, that example helps me a lot when Ismael, our general superior, visited us here in Vietnam. Now he just left the airport. Now I think he's in the airport waiting for his flight. So he's our general superior, so he knows the situation of Verbum Day around the world. So there was a moment. Sorry about the dogs. Sorry. My neighbor has a lot of dogs. So okay. Anyway, wherever I go, the dogs follow me. When I'm in Philippines, our neighbors has dogs. Okay, just to continue about faith. Okay. So the visit of our general superior. So the other day, he was sharing to me Verbum Day, the different missionaries showing me pictures around the world. For me, it was really a beautiful experience because I was just focused on Vietnam, the situation of Vietnam, situation of the visa, the situation of the mission here, I have to work, blah, blah, blah. But when I looked at the missionaries, they said, oh my goodness, I have missionary brothers in Africa. Look at them. They're so happy. I have missionaries in Europe. Wow. I know this guy. And it really helped me to see that I am not alone in this mission. I have brothers and sisters who are working very hard as well in the other side of the world. So my perspective becomes bigger. For me, it was interesting to experience that. And it's the same with this image of faith. You walk through the forest, but there's someone who helps us also to see a bigger perspective. And at the same time, you can be the one with a bigger perspective. You need also the faith of the ones walking through the forest. And for Ismael as well, he was very thankful. He said, oh, I always see Vietnam as a very far away land, hidden in the corner of I don't know where. But when I'm here, wow, it's different. The experience to see the people, to see the apostolate, it's different to walk through the forest. And yeah, it's a beautiful experience of working together as a family, sharing the faith with one another. And that is what faith is all about. This is the message of our reading today. Faith, the gift of faith. And the gift of faith is not something magical that you only receive in prayer. The gift of faith also comes from concrete people, from concrete places. Your faith, do not say that, my faith is not so much. I don't need to share it. Your faith is very vital and it's very important if you share it because it benefits all of us. That's why I encourage you. We will have a sharing later on after personal prayer. Please, I encourage you, do not be afraid to share your faith where you are because you may be a person who is walking through the jungle where you are, and we need your faith. We need your faith where you are so that we will be enriched. When I don't know if you have seen the other day when I was here in Vietnam, I was watching Discovery Channel, and to my surprise, there was a documentary about Pope Francis. I don't know if you have seen it in Discovery Channel, because Discovery Channel many times is only, I don't know, exploration, science. Well, a documentary about Pope Francis. In my mind, I thought, oh, what happens to Pope Francis? Why is there a documentary about Pope Francis? Maybe is he still alive? So he's still alive, of course. No? And yes, interesting because one of the things when he was still healthier, he knows many. He have heard many news about situations in the world, and one situation was about the war in Aleppo. The city was destroyed and all that. He heard about it. But one of the priests there sends him pictures of situations in that place and sends him a picture of a chapel that was destroyed and a statue of Jesus that was broken and was hit by bullets. When he saw that, it touched his heart, according to the priest who sent him the pictures, and he went to visit that place. He went to visit that place to really see for himself what was the situation all about. For me, that is a person who has faith. A person who is not afraid to really walk through the forest and to really receive the faith of the ones who are there. Yes, perhaps as Pope, he sees in a wide perspective the situation of the church, but we can see in him as well as an example of a shepherd who wants to receive faith through the forest where the people are. Inheritance. We inherit faith. We receive faith from each other. We receive faith from the church. And we need to be thankful of that. We need to welcome that faith because that is our inheritance. In the psalm today, there is a beautiful phrase. It says there, we inherit both blessing and danger. We inherit both blessing and danger. So expect this, be aware of this. We also inherit not only the good things, but the danger and the cross that comes from the blessing. So welcome that as well, not only the good things, but also the package that brings with it, the package of the cross, the package of danger that is threatening that blessing. You know the inheritance. When there's an inheritance, when you win a lottery, for example, you win either a big, you don't go out and advertise yourself. I won. It's dangerous. There is also danger. When you have a big treasure, you're afraid. There's danger that comes with it. So it's the same. With the faith that we have, there is danger as well. There are threats. And that's why the gospel today talks about vigilance. Be vigilant. Take care of the treasure that the Lord has given you, the inheritance that He has given you. This treasure of your relationship with Him. Take care of it. And how to take care of it? Make safe investments with God. I will not talk about this more, but you know more than me how to invest. Okay, invest with God. Invest with God. Be prepared, for there will be thieves who want to take away that treasure. Be prepared. Be vigilant. Remember the image of the seed and the good soil. Sow, no, our name is ZOW or sow. We sow good seeds. Remember that the seed is always good that God gives us. That is the treasure, good seed, but depends on the soil. Especially those on the path, when the seed falls on the path, immediately the devil steals it. So the message today is be vigilant, prepare yourself, take care of the treasure, because there are thieves also that will take away, especially the devil. And I remember this past days, this past months actually, I am working as an English teacher. I'm teaching English tutor to some people. And yesterday I was with my students, and because my students are Koreans, so I start to learn little bits of Koreans. So I start to practice with them. No, la la la, la, and we were laughing. And they told me, "Oh, Darwin, you learn Korean faster than we learn English." So, okay, so you remember more the Korean than we remember English, because tomorrow, next day, we forget immediately what we learned from today. So I was a bit disappointed, my goodness. So it gives me stress now how to teach them more strongly or something. But anyway, this image helps us a lot, that many times we receive, we pray today, and many times the next day we forget what we pray. It's so fast. It's so fast how it disappears, the faith. I remember in the passage of Hosea, chapter 6, verse 6, it says there, God was telling the people of Israel, like, your faith is so quick to disappear. It's like mist in the morning. When the sun comes, the mist disappears. So many times our faith disappears quickly. And that's why we need good soil. We need good soil. We need to really fight for this inheritance that is given to us. And lastly, I will share that this treasure that we have, this inheritance, is not only for you and for me personally. We are called to be faithful stewards. In the gospel today, the full version of the gospel, it talks about being faithful stewards in charge of all this inheritance, of all this property. So God is telling us, I entrust to you this inheritance, this property. You have the responsibility to take care of it, to let it grow abundant, or to just keep it on the, I don't know, just keep it for yourself. You have that responsibility. And there was the message of the gospel today. It says there, those stewards, if you are really a faithful steward, you are experts in distributing the food allowance at the proper time for the other servants. This is your task. This is our task. We are faithful stewards who are masters, experts in distributing the food allowance at the proper time for others, for your brothers and sisters, to feed them. As you know, it is not good if you are the employer. It is really, really not good to give the allowance or the salary to the workers very late. Okay, it's a sin in a way. And I remember, once again, I will share to you my English class, because my students, they pay me, and one student really pays me exactly at the right time, at the right moment. And me, I'm so generous. I mean, I'm so like kind and gentle. No need to work. No need to pay me on the moment. Maybe you can pay me later. And no, because it's a sin if I don't pay. I don't pay you at the right moment. So, okay, thank you, thank you. That's a reality. That's a reality in the world, and it's the same with God. We are faithful stewards. Give to others what they deserve. Give to others what is right for them. That is justice. That is justice. Give to them what they ought to receive from you. What you receive from God is not only for you, it's for them. And this is the command of God at the end of John to the apostles. John 21:15 to 18. John 21:15 to 18. He repeated many times. Jesus said, if you love me, feed my sheep. How can I show my love to God? Feed your brothers and sisters. Feed them, feed my sheep. Take care of them. You are faithful stewards. Distribute the food at the right time. I end there. So as we continue our this time of personal prayer, I encourage you, as what I've said from the beginning, to ask the Lord, Lord, how are you? First of all, ask the Lord, how are you? And allow him to express his feelings towards you, to express that he is happy for you here now that you're present, and to ask for the gift of faith, especially now in the time of prayer. Perhaps my faith is dying, but allow the Lord to give you the gift of faith and inheritance that he has prepared for you. So enjoy your prayer this time and hope to see you later.